Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
Rebel soul child got a fist ball, I'm a respawn of ancestors, and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up, I get check stub, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless, yeah, I got next up, right, no we're not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride, you do better keeping it quiet, my pen is ignited, my soul is enlightened, I like who I am, but I'm biased, the palette is right, and my drip is a fountain, I'm not like these regular guys, all of that talk is misguided, she like the way I make the tape print, but the way I make the words play is grim, I'm the reaper reaching for the kill switch, the label cut the check like the bladesman, something sparking where his brain is, the beat is somewhere where they prayers in, Geronimo the way I make the bass jump when no parachute is tasted.
What is going on? I know we had a little delay there, but we got to do it right. We got to do it. I'm stuttering and mush mouthing right now from the get-go, but no matter what, this is still the #1 MMA show in the game, in boxing and Muay Thai. Bada bing, bada boom. What's up, my boy?
Man, chilling. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just got off work, just been cleaning. You know how it is, going through the grind. How about you?
Same, man. Fresh off work. I'm always fresh off work. I feel like I'm like on my way to work or just getting off work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Story of our lives, right?
Yep. Part of the grind nowadays. If you're not working, you're sleeping, and if you're not sleeping, you're still working.
Man, gotta get it together. No time for sitting down and slouching, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know too. We just had PFA this past weekend. Guarantee I didn't sleep at all that whole weekend.
Man. It was a great show, by the way.
It was. It really was.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Was it 19 fights?
Yeah, 19 fights, and it was like, I think, 4 or 5 title fights?
Yeah, straight knockouts. It was really good. Really good. Can't wait for the next one. They set the stage up, they got to outdo that. And that was a great show.
Mm-hmm.
That was PFA 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, if I remember correctly, of the 4 champions, you had Luke Levanway versus Jameson Weber, and Luke came out victorious as the 168-pound champ. And then you had Isaac McCary versus, I think it was Cesar Tabanico, and Isaac ended up getting the belt there. I forget who else too, but there was a good couple other guys that got the belt.
Yeah. No, that was really good. Belts. I mean, there wasn't a bad fight. Like, it wasn't a bad fight at all. I enjoyed every one of them. Now, what's next? OG Boxing, right?
Yeah. It won't be this coming weekend, but the following weekend, we got OG Boxing returning once again. I believe this is going to be the 3rd event that they're going to put on this year before December. But, dude, I'm excited for this card. This is going to be a phenomenal boxing match.
Yeah. Last time we were there, it was in June. Got to see an exciting card that time. That was our first time showing up to that promotion. Great event. In fact, we got a guest tonight too.
Yes, we most certainly do. And hey, let me tell you something. This guy is on a mission, hell-bent to end every fight with a finish. He's a stylistic hypnotist, putting his foes in a trance with a stiff jab. They'd be mesmerized and caught in a flash, but more like a flurry of punches, leaving you punch-drunk with the upchuck of no luck, stirring up your guts and your lunch, and now you're stuck between the ropes playing rope-a-dope, trying not to catch the smoke with Sandman you go to elope. As you cry in secrecy, ask yourself, how'd he defeat me? Now, ladies and gentlemen, you best sit at your chair's end, as he's the one and only Adam Lopez. What's going on, my man?
What up? Thanks for the intro.
I gotta treat you right, bro.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Just training hard.
You already got a fight scheduled?
Yep, we're fighting September 9th on that OG card. So
nice. Do you know who you're fighting?
Yeah, I actually sparred him. He's my sparring partner. I sparred him a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. He's from Tucson. His name's Alex, but I don't want to talk too much about the sparring.
No. Do you feel that adds like an interesting element, like without diving too much in the sparring, but the fact you've sparred him before and now you're actually going to box him in a match?
Yeah, for sure. I think it makes it a better fight because we don't have to feel each other out as much. We might not have to go that one round. The first round,
Mm.
second round, fill them out. We could just get straight into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just gonna jump right into that. That
Yeah.
reminds me of what Javante Davis was just going through recently when he was talking about how he sparred Devin Haney. And
Well, I want to see that fight. I want to see them fight.
man,
Dude.
when Javante was talking about it, I was like, ooh, because he
Who
said
you
I
guys
dropped
got?
him there.
You guys got Sir Gervonta if that fight happens?
Haney's big, man, for Javante. But
Big, but I got to go with Javante because the power is there and his accuracy too.
yeah, no,
Yeah, he got power, but I like Haney. Like he just don't make that much mistakes. He's very sharp.
he doesn't. But you know what? That that's the only problem with power. You don't have to make a mistake with power. The power makes you make mistakes. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you start getting hit, and
Hmm.
once you
You
get
get
hit,
hit,
I don't
of it,
know.
Yeah.
you get hit in that body, and it's like, oh, that was a brick.
Yeah. Like with
It,
Ryan Garcia fight.
Yeah.
well, Ryan made a couple mistakes. He made a couple
He made a lot.
he made a couple mistakes,
Yeah.
and Javante don't let you make too many mistakes and get away with it. So
Yeah.
that was different, you know. But getting away from that a little bit into you, when did you get into boxing?
I was probably like 14, 15. There was this gym by my house, like kind of like they had like their own in the garage, and I was trying to
Okay.
go there, and we drove by a couple times. My mom didn't really even want me to go, and she's like, "You're not joining boxing. We're not gonna do that." And then my dad just kind of took me to this other gym in Glendale, Peraza's gym. I don't know if you guys heard of it.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, yeah. It shut down though, so I switched,
Oh.
switched gyms, and then I took a little break from it after I had some amateur fights, probably about 10 amateur fights. And when I started going back, and I just started training for like a year or two, like just kind of, but without fighting, just sparring though, sparring everybody.
Hmm.
And then we just said, let's go pro.
Okay. So how many amateur fights in total do you have?
About 10.
Okay.
Some of them weren't with most of them with USA Boxing, but I don't know. I think there was I don't know if you guys heard of like UCFC, AZ or something. I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some stuff like that too, but mostly straight USA Boxing.
Okay.
So, what pushed you to go pro so quickly?
I don't know. I just like the pro style way better. Like, I hated the amateurs. Like, everything was just so much more like. I feel like it takes away from your skill. Like, it's so much fast paced. Like,
Hmm.
sometimes it's 2 3 minute rounds. Sometimes even a minute and a half, depending on your age and stuff. And even on the event, I was in Vegas for one of our guys at the gym, and there were just so much fights. They turned every fight to 1 minute long. So like,
Wow.
you know what I mean? It just takes away from like the skill. And honestly, I'm ready to do. I want to do 6 rounders already. I don't want to do 4 rounders. Just I don't know. I just like the style a lot better. You gotta pace yourself more, sit on your punches. It's just a
Yeah.
lot different.
Yeah, and you don't seem to be as restricted in regards to the rule set. Because like in boxing and other sports, you see there's additional safeguards added on for the amateurs, and when you eliminate that factor as you turn pro, it's easier for you to get comfortable and in the flow of things.
Yeah, and like even in amateurs, you don't even have to get hit that hard. Like they'll give you standing eight for nothing.
Right?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
To
Like you
protect
better
the
like
fighter.
well, if your head gets snapped back, you get a standing eight. But the pros, they just let it go.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, we got one of your boys, Elijah, saying, "Keep up the hard work, Adam. You look great, man.
Thank you.
Looking
Yeah.
clean with the cut."
So we're in August. You're already back in camp. Did you ever kind of leave camp? Did you ever take a break from camp, or going right into it? When did you learn about the fight?
Probably we're actually trying to set it up right away. As soon as my fight was over, I was already getting calls. Hey, you got to fight this. Yeah. We're actually going to fight on an Iron Boy show like 2 weeks after, but it was just too close, and I just needed. I wanted to use the time to get better, you know what I mean, and make the adjustments in the gym. So
Yeah.
I found out about it pretty quick though, probably about an 8 week camp.
Okay,
So
so you had a pretty good distance in regards to training and getting prepared and sharpen your craft.
yeah, I don't really. I try not to take a fight. I don't want to take fights on short notices, really, even though I'm always ready. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't know. I just like to fully prepare. But I
Yeah.
will fight. You know what I mean? If it makes sense, I will.
So how
Yeah.
long was your first camp?
The first one's 6 weeks,
Okay. So now
and
you're
I
getting
felt
8 weeks out of this one.
yeah, I felt 6 weeks. It was good, especially. I mean, it was only a 4 rounder, so. But it was different than I expected. The stamina, I don't know. It was I had a lot of stamina, but I don't know if I was nervous or what. But I made sure I hit stamina harder this time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with that being your pro debut, it's that always has like some little bit of set of nerves that you just kind of get out of the way. Once you get that first pro fight out of the way, then you're solid. And plus too, with you getting it on that unanimous decision win, now that's gonna add fuel to this next one coming into it.
Yeah, it was so different. I don't know. Like I could spar like 6, 8 rounds easy. You know what I mean? But even though it was only 4 rounds, the intensity is a lot higher. Even though it
Hmm.
don't seem like it.
What what was some of the main things you noticed about the pro fight versus some of your amateur fights in the past? What was like some of the things you picked up on right off the bat?
Those 8 ounce gloves. Not that even they even hurt, but I don't want to say like it hurts, but it's more to the point like you want to fight smarter. You know what I mean? You want to take less
Mhm.
damage. Just even though I could stay go in there and bang, you just want to take less damage.
So it
Yeah.
takes that stamina bar that we used to see in
Yeah,
Fight Night Down. You remember
yeah,
that little stamina bar up there?
yeah. Yeah, mine would be all the way low. I'd be throwing.
Now, for yourself, and when you're in that profile, and then even when you're sparring, do you find yourself often leaning towards trying to throw those heavy shots from the get-go to put them out, or like you said, you try to play more of a strategic game throughout the course and then pick your opportunities?
It depends. If I'm going in there against like someone who's just trying to knock my head off, you know what I mean? I'm gonna go in there and just box them. But
Okay.
if it's someone who I know they can't hang, I might go in there and get the job done.
Okay.
Especially in the pro fights, because you get paid the same if you finish in your 2 rounds or you finish 4 or whatever it is.
Right. Now, I know you said there was a couple of things that you seen. Uh, well, mainly you're talking about the stamina difference. So, what are some things you made adjustments with this camp to kind of focus and get over that little hump that you found?
Um, Before like the first camp, I could run like a lot. Like I could run like 6 miles, 8 miles, just nonstop. And I would kind of run them like at a regular pace, not like I'd run them at a fast pace. Like say on instance like on a treadmill or something, I'd run like at 8.5 or 9, just
Damn.
straight. Yeah, just straight on the treadmill. It seems like really fast and it's really hard to do. Like most people probably can't do that for that long. But this camp, I'm doing more like interval, like sprints, slow down, sprint, slow down. Even though it's like the same time I'm running, like say if I'm even running 30 minutes, I'm going up to 12 speed on that treadmill and coming back down to 6. You know what I mean? Just interval running, doing a lot of hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very smart too, because like you see in boxing how there's those spurts of energy where all of a sudden the pace picks up dramatically and you got to be able to keep up with that, and then things start to settle and try to find the ebb and the flow. So that's very smart in regards to your cardio and how you can handle those situations.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta explode. You know what I mean? Even though it might be
Mhm.
calm, you might get in that little thing where they want to throw it with you for 30 seconds, whatever it
Yeah.
may be. But I don't know. I want to have like a lot of stamina where I can throw. Like I could just if I had to, I could bang the whole. You know what I mean? The whole time, just keep throwing.
Yeah,
Where does
exactly.
that desire come from? Who influenced that?
I don't know. It just more like from sparring because I spar like really good people sometimes. You know what I mean? People with a lot more experience than I have. I don't want to say they're better than me, but they got a lot more experience than I do.
Hmm.
So sometimes, like, say you're going those longer rounds, when you start to get tired, you might lose some of that technique, some of that. You know what I mean? Even though they're not better than you might be more tired. and you're not as sharp, you know what I mean, as fluid. So more
It's not
stamina.
coming out the way you want it.
Yeah, when I have more stamina, I found I'm able to focus just more on, just my skill set. I don't have to go away from my skill set or my game plan when I have stamina.
Yeah, and that's what people from the audience or people at home that's watching the fight, they don't fully grasp when you're in there inside the ring boxing it up and you're actually throwing shots with somebody else that has just as bad intentions, is that you have to be able to have the gas tank, the stamina, and the cardio to be able to endure the onslaught, dish out the onslaught, then also mitigate and handle it throughout the course of the fight.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people, I don't know, it's just they're like throw a left hook. You know what I mean?
It's like, have you ever sparred before, fool? No.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
that's funny.
really big.
Everybody in the crowd thinks they're a coach once the match starts.
Yeah.
Do you ever like hear any of that noise that goes on in the middle of the fight when like the people in the audience, they're trying to yell things like that, or are you pretty zoned in on just your corner?
I don't hear it. I am zoned in. I don't even like it's not even like I'm trying to ignore it. It's just like a natural switch that just goes on. I don't really hear nobody.
Yeah, because you're more so in that fight mode. So it's like how we always talk about fighters. As soon as you enter that mode, everything else goes out the door, and you have one single objective.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I was after that first fight, everyone was like, "Did you hear me? Did you hear my advice?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, I definitely heard you.
That's funny. Yeah, no.
No, it definitely is. You get that once that bell rings and that fight is on, like you said, that intensity level picks up and your heart spikes, and so you zone out.
Yeah, you got
And
somebody trying to take your hat off in there.
Mhm.
I'm not worried about what's out there.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right. So you're right here from Phoenix, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What high
Are you
school did you
guys
go to?
from here? I went to Westview.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm from. I grew up out here myself. I went to Peoria back in the
that's
day.
dope.
Me,
Yeah.
I'm all over the place, but I graduated at Lake Havasu.
Oh, that's dope. I want to go fishing out there.
Yeah, dude, it,
Right,
it it
right,
gets so hot there, even the lake heats up.
Yeah,
right.
that's.
So how does it feel? Because the crowd was loud. You had a lot of supporters in there. How does it feel to be able to fight and have your pro debut right here in your backyard?
It's dope. I'm trying to train even harder because I know there's a lot of people out there just supporting me. So I'm definitely trying to put on a show for them this time, even a bigger show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool having a lot of supporters. You know what I mean? Even like that guy, he only had a couple a couple fans out there, and I heard some of my people, booing them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But after
Yeah.
so yeah, it's
Does
pretty
it g-
dope.
does it make you feel more comfortable when you step into the ring? Does it give you a sense of like USA?
Honestly, no. Even if it was the other way around, say if I didn't have nobody in the crowd and my opponent did, to me, it's like it don't really matter. Like you still got to fight. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
Mhm.
like his crowd isn't gonna fight for him. My crowd ain't gonna fight for me. So to me,
Yeah.
Right.
too big of a difference as far as fighting wise.
Yeah, okay. And so do you feel like me and James, we talk about all the time, that's like with Arizona fighters, they just come from a different breed. What do you or how do I want to ask that? How do you feel about the talent and the skill here in Arizona and Phoenix, such as yourself, and what that can display across the board, across the states?
I think Arizona has a lot of talent actually. Like I be talking about that with my coaches, like what states have like because we like to we go out of state too for like fights for like some of our amateur guys they travel, but we like to get sparring out of state when we can. Um, I think Arizona has a lot of staying. We could put on, obviously the Ramos. I think, yeah, the Ramos brothers out of here, Benavides.
Mhm.
We got a lot of talent. So I think that's pretty dope. Just everybody knows everybody kind of in the boxing game here. So you could always get good sparring, and that actually helps because you get better. You know what I mean? Better people who spar, the better you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think we have like, I don't know. I don't want to say like some states don't have as good a talent, but definitely Arizona has some of the best.
I'll say it. Some
Yeah.
states don't have as much talent as us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but and that's the thing. at one point in time, we were one of those states. We were one of those states that were fighting to get up on the ladder of that status, and fortunately enough, we're here now. We got that talent, and we're there's a lot of it.
For
So
sure.
and that rubs off like you were talking about, being able to spar with much more experienced guys, and do that and have those hours in the ring with that experience on the other side before you even made your pro debut.
Yeah, for sure. Even as amateurs, I spot really good people. Really good pros. So it's just Arizona definitely has a lot of big names coming out.
Yeah. Do you feel like I always pick people's brain on it, but do you feel that like this heat that we deal with also adds a big factor? Because like we've known some fighters that's from the northern states that come down here and they're like, holy shit, this heat is like it adds a whole different flow to the training.
They didn't think about that before they came down here on their weight loss journey.
I don't know. It might. To me personally, though, I'm just so used to the heat. I don't really think too much about it.
Yeah.
Okay. See
Like
me,
I
I
could
walk
run.
out. I walk out 5 minutes, I'd be looking like a burnt chicken nugget.
Nah, I could run in the heat. You know what I mean? I could work, train. It don't matter to me. It don't
Yeah.
stop me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, who are some of your idols growing up? Some of the guys that kind of influenced you, and some of the guys you kind of looked up to growing up to kind of push you in this direction.
As far as like boxing idols, I would say like one of my favorite fighters growing up was Miguel Cotto.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know his fights is just like he was like a warrior. You know what I mean? Like all his fights were war, so it always got me hyped. You watch a fight and you want to start boxing right there. Yeah,
That that explains the when you're talking about one to just throw.
yeah.
Miguel, man, he'd get into those modes where he'd just stand back and just bing, 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 bing.
I like Mayweather too, though. Just I don't know. The IQ too is dope. You know what I mean? Having
Mm.
being able to do both, not just being one
One
sided.
dimensional.
Yeah, being universal and being able to do everything is dope.
Yeah, yeah, especially finding that balance between it with being able to have that high IQ, to have the smart defensive strategies, the counterfeit or the counterattack strategies, but then also be able to put on a phenomenal show where you could piece them up, have a little fun in the process, and get the crowd roaring.
Yeah, personally, I like boxing better. A little bit more slick, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes to make it dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
everything
gotta.
doesn't go always the way it's planned, right?
Yeah, I'll pick it up if I need to, or if I feel like their tank isn't there and they're gonna get broken down. Like I said, I'll start putting the pressure on and start breaking them down to the body, to the head, wherever it needs.
Okay. Okay. And so what would you, without giving too many details, what is like a typical workout routine for you that as part of the preparation for the camp?
Honestly, I've been trying to work out really twice a day. So I've been trying to do strength and conditioning in the mornings, and then that just a lot of, like I said, a lot of hit strength and conditioning, just building that conditioning, and then afterwards, when I'm in the evening when I go to boxing, I it's a almost like, I don't want to say basic workout, but I get there, I'm making sure I get my 6 rounds, 4 to 8 rounds of jump roping, 4 to 8 rounds of shadow boxing,
Hmm.
my bag work, doing crazy ball, double end bag, speed ball, mitts, my 6 to 8 rounds of sparring, and just shredding the abs. I don't want to say like universal. Sometimes we switch it up, just depending on what I'm training for. But we already know what to expect this fight, so it's all, what I mean, making sure I'm real conditioned and just focusing on our game plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it goes a long way, especially in boxing. I mean, there's obviously in combat sports in general, the game plan is always a good thing. Any sports, but boxing, you got to be able to adapt. Um, uh, but having a good game plan goes a long way, especially the higher you get and quality of fighters that you're facing.
Yeah, like you said though, you still gotta adapt. If your game plan ain't working, you gotta change it up and be able to not keep making those same mistakes round after round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Especially right now, you only got 4 rounds, so it's really hard. Like you got to make them fast. You know what I mean? You got to be sharp.
Is that more of the reason why you like the 6? Because you can kind of have that round to kind of fill out the situation and then kind of move in. Do you feel rushed in 4?
I don't want to say like rushed or I need to fill out a round, but it is. I don't know. Like I said, I feel like a lot of guys they don't have like a gas tank either. You know what I mean? Like a stamina. So I want to
They're
be. I
getting
want
off.
to. Yeah, I want to. I guess it's kind of rushed. You only got 4 rounds. You know what I mean? I want to start getting some knockouts. You know, a lot of people you can break them down 6 to 8 rounds.
Right, right.
That a lot of boxers can push themselves like through 4 rounds. You know what I mean? Without being taken out. But once you get
Yeah.
6 to 8, you start questioning yourself. Like, damn, I shouldn't be in
I wasn't running. That's what you started saying. I wasn't running. I should have
Yeah,
hit Camelback Mountain.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And with with those 4 rounds, do you feel with some guys it can add a little extra nerve? Like there's the more stress and the urgency to try to hurry up and like solidify the unanimous win, split win, or even try to get that knockout. And that results in some of the fighters making the mistake of gassing out too early.
I feel like if you're as a professional, you're doing what you're doing. You should have that gas tank for 4 rounds. You know, like you shouldn't be getting gassed out even if you got to throw, whatever it is. You know, you got to do your running, your conditioning. That's a big deal.
Okay.
But there's some people who don't. You know, especially like a lot of these guys who are trying to build their record. They're going against people who are I don't want to say bums, but people who are 0-4, 0-5, whatever it is. You know, and where they just don't. They're there for a check.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to ask. You're young in the sport, and you kind of grew up in the age where boxing it was kind of in the mid. It's kind of in a switch of an era. We
Yeah.
had a lot of the Hall of Famers that we grew up on retiring, and then we had that kind of a gray time period where there wasn't a lot of known big name fighters out there right at the time. So now, fast forward, we got a lot of talent. We got a lot of talent. But my question to you is, how do you feel about, what's going on with the celebrity fights, the celebrity boxing matches, all this kind of stuff? But, two questions are in that. Like, how do you feel about it? And how do you feel about what it's bringing to the sport of boxing as well?
Man, it's so hard to say. I think people like I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I don't like when like say like Jake Paul for example, like they're bragging all this stuff, their records, but I just want to like it's fine like the celebrity if you're fighting a celebrity, yeah, that's cool, but if you want to like claim to be your boxing, like you know what I mean, you like Jake Paul's been boxing for a while already, like just fight like an actual boxer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like an actual like I know he fought Tommy Fury, but I don't know. Start from like some skill level, especially like it's not like he's old, like where he don't have a chance at. You know what I mean? Like he's still young enough to get a title shot if he actually started fighting, more experience. I don't think he's as that good to be able to, you know what I mean, win them. But if
Yeah.
you really want to try and like you say you do, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? At least take those fights and take that risk. Because boxing, you got to take risk.
Yeah.
You do.
Exactly. And with like the celebrity boxing or even like the YouTuber boxing, do you think that showed opportunities with fighters as well that depending on like what type of influence and your social media audience and how large it is, that could play an even greater factor in regards to like what fights you could pull as well as the income you could bring in from it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, if you're a big draw, you know what I mean. You're gonna make money in boxing if you can sell tickets. That's the biggest thing. Even if you got a lot of talent, but you can't sell tickets, that's gonna you know what I mean. You're not gonna get paid
Mm,
what you're worth. But
That
go
that's the
ahead.
only reason why I think that the Javante Davis and Haney thing could actually happen because uh, first of all, Javante shouldn't be going to fight him. But the draw, like you said, the draw would be so big that they would figure that out. They would figure it out.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's a celebrity boxing because to your point, a lot of guys are kind of like on your side. It's kind of a split down the middle because a lot of guys are like, well, in a sense, it comes off like he's kind of like showing off or mocking the situation because he's not fighting really trained boxers. And even the last one with Nate Diaz is a fantastic striker, but striking and boxing are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
The skill gap is just so different. Like, yeah, they're not even comparable almost.
No, you take those gloves off and you allow him to kick and do other stuff. Then it changes the situation.
Yeah,
And
it's I think it's frustrating too. Like, there's people who are way more talented than him, and way more just skillful and have a lot more to bring it. They'll never get the opportunity that he has to make the money he's making, to be on the stage he's on. But I still think like you still gotta you gotta earn it still. You know what I mean? Even though he may
Yeah.
have that easy way, you still have to put in the work. And I'm not saying like someone can't get the opportunity with hard work. You know what I mean? I think hard work, you can still get the opportunity, but I can see how it's frustrating at the same time.
I
Yeah.
do enjoy the fact that he puts a lot of amateurs and new up and coming fighters on his cards. I like that.
Yeah, I don't really watch his cards too much, just but so I don't know too much on who's on it, but
You got to watch the undercard sometimes. There's a couple. There's a couple
yeah,
good undercovers in it.
on any like boxing match, I'm always watching undercards. I just don't watch too much Jake Paul. I mean, I'll try if I have the time. I'll watch it. I just like watching boxing of all kinds, but
Yeah, not necessarily the celebrity or like the YouTube boxing, more so like the true facet where it's
Oh
like
yeah,
back to the origin or it's a dog eat dog sport, survival of the fittest.
oh yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm always watching boxing.
So who's your favorite boxer right now?
Probably Haney. A lot of people are gonna hate on that one, but probably Haney. But I like everybody. I like Tank. I like Caleb Plant. I don't know. I like everybody.
Man, it's
I want
Plant.
Haney and Shakur to fight.
It's Plant walking around slapping everybody, right?
Yeah, he slapped Charlo. That was fun.
Yeah. Isn't Jarlov gonna be fighting Canelo?
Little Charlo, yeah,
Oh, okay.
We don't
yeah,
know what's about to happen over there because there's so much stuff. Terrence Crawford. Okay, well they finally said I guess Spence he enacted his clause, so we'll be seeing Spence Crawford too.
yeah.
How
What
do you
is it?
feel about that?
Man, I was mad. I was mad. I want Spence to win. I was a Spence fan, but
So I'm a Spence fan too.
I was rooting for him too.
You
I don't
think
know what happened.
he should fight him again?
I think he should fight him again at 154, but I'm not saying he's gonna win. But just I don't know. I don't know if he was drained or what. But he looked like he was on drugs or something.
That's what like I've been hearing a lot of back and forth where people have been saying stuff also like that accident that he was in, it like played that big of a factor in it, and then also the weight cut, like it was the weight cut was more brutal for him, and then trying to recover from the dehydration process.
Yeah, my thing is though, like he made like Spence look like so Terrence Crawford has fought worse people than Spence, but he made Spence look worse than those people. You know what I mean? He made him look
Mhm.
like below average. So, and Spence has fought some of those same people and he looked better than they did. I don't know.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. And before I even go into it, yes, styles make fights. However, like you said, of the guys that they have both faced, Spence has beat the dog out of most of them.
Yeah,
And Terrence, he's won some, he knocked some of the guys out and stuff as well, but he didn't look like Spence looked in the ring with those guys.
yeah. I want to say
So
like even like Benavidez. Say like Crawford fought Benavidez for example. He made like Spence look like way worse than Benavidez. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
don't know. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
no, it's one of those things where you're like, what the fuck? Like you said, what happened? Like, what was going on? Did you eat some bad eggs that morning? Did you like what happened? Because he
I
looked
mean, he
bad.
lost fair and square, but yeah, I don't know if he was on his best. Like, say you could be like, you guys know in boxing, you could be on your best day, like 9 out of 10 days. But if you're on confined night, even though you were good, those 9 days on that 10th day, you know what I mean? You still got to perform even if you're not feeling good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like how people always say you could be anybody on any given day, and it's just the nature of the sport.
Yeah.
I believe it until I mean, I don't know, man. We'll see. They said December.
Yeah.
I hope. I just hope he don't get beat like he just did. At least make it. Give me the 6 to 8 and be
Do you
all
know what
right.
they're fighting at? Do you know what the weight is? I didn't even see he activated the rematch clause.
He activated it. I want to say it's gonna be at 154. Don't quote me on that because I don't think they cemented. I
Yeah.
know that they said it was supposed to be December like 27th or something like that or 12th.
Yeah.
Um,
I know Crawford too. He was saying that even cutting down that much for him is getting to be too much. So I wouldn't be surprised if it would be a higher weight at
well,
154.
well, here's the rumor: is that Crawford is still teeter tottering about thinking about vacating the belts and moving up, anyways. So I don't think Crawford's totally agreed yet. That's why I don't think there's a weight there yet and all that stuff yet. But we'll see, man. I don't know. I don't know. So
So you're saying like he's thinking about like withdrawing from the rematch clause and vacating the belts?
and moving up to go fight. He has a couple people on the list.
He did mention Canelo as well.
Yeah,
He
I've been
bet
seeing that.
he better not fight Canelo.
He should give a if Spence wants to fight the rematch, he should give it to him because Spence gave him a shot.
Hmm.
I mean, I'll be honest. For the sport of boxing, I hope Terrence moves up,
He
and I
could
hope he
so he
like.
he can go for 3-time undisputed for Charlo if Charlo.
Yeah, that's where I think that's where he's focused. It's Charlo. The Canelo thing, I really think is far fetched. Like, no, bro. Like, no, not right
Well,
now.
we thought it was possible with Spence.
I mean, eventually,
But
not
Spence
like
walks around. Well, at least I've heard he walks around like 180.
he walks around bigger than Terrence. Like, I can't see Terrence going from not right now. Like, move up and fight Charlo, or move up and fight somebody else, and then try to fight Canelo. You can't just no.
What if Canelo loses to Charlo? Who do you think he should fight?
Oh, that's a good question.
Um, Still not Canelo, because Canelo got that experience. Canelo got that old school experience. Like after he fought Mayweather, he picked up on things that he still uses, like that whole when he's hitting you in them hips, and later on in the 6th and 8th round, you can't even turn your damn body. Like
Hmm.
he just has other different techniques and things that I don't think Terrence is ready for, with as big as Canelo is.
I don't think he should fight him either, to be honest. But I think Canelo's still slowing down. He's starting to
He is
slow.
slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah, and
He's
I know too he's had wrist issue for a while. Like the when he fought Bivol, he admitted that his I think it was his right or left wrist, but was injured, and shortly after that fight, he had surgery on it. And then he was also complaining that even the last few fights before Bivol, he was like having some issues with it, but he was just pushing through it.
yeah. I've seen all that stuff too.
So, what's your
That's what
favorite
people
division
want
in
to
boxing
do.
right now?
Probably lightweight. I don't.
Yeah,
Probably lightweight. I like them all, though, man. I just like boxing. 147 stacked too. I think
yeah,
lightweight. I think lightweight and welterweight are the most stacked.
yeah. I would have to agree with you. I couldn't
There's
Hmm.
agree.
a bunch of good fights, though. I don't know. This was a good year for boxing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think the last 2 years have been really good for boxing.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of stars made over the last couple of years, like the Charlo brothers we were just talking about. Davis has become one. I mean, even though Ryan just lost, Ryan became one. Uh, like, there's been a lot of stars created over the last 2 years.
I want to see though. I do want to see the AJ and Wilder fight.
That'd be a good one. I know that they were actually talking about a super card lined up where Usyk and Tyson fight, and then they also have right underneath Deontay versus AJ.
Yeah, but I don't think that's gonna happen because Fury.
Yeah, yeah. Fury's going to be fighting Francis.
I think Wilder and AJ will happen probably in December, hopefully.
Yeah.
So since that was just brought up, Tyson and Francis. Give me your predictions.
I got.
Why you laugh?
I don't know. I got Fury. I think UFC fighters come into boxing. I think they mostly lose all the time.
Yeah, and vice versa, like we were talking about earlier. It's just a completely different skill set that
Hmm.
you're training for. I
I think
mean,
I think you got to be more special to be like in boxing. You know what I mean? I don't want some UFC fans to get mad at me, but
Well, I
I
mean,
think
it's the reality of the sports. It's like Anderson Silva and Jose Aldo have probably been like the only two MMA fighters transitioned over who's had at least more success.
yeah. I don't know. I just feel like boxing like it's just a different type of skill, and it's a lot more like you could UFC you could just be knocking everybody out. You know what I mean? Boxing is a little bit different. You got to be able to go those 12 rounds.
Hmm.
it well, it's play. I mean, each art once you get elite, once you get to the top of each art, you can't just go and just jump into it. Period. I don't care if we're talking about boxing, Muay Thai, kickbox, like whatever it is. If we're talking about the elite of that art form, you're not just coming and saying, "Oh, well, I'm a boxer. I'm gonna come transition into Muay Thai because I'm really good at boxing." It's not happening. Vice
Yeah.
versa, though. The Muay Thai guy, he's not coming over and jumping in the boxing ring with the elite status. So it's perfecting your craft and respecting the other craft at the same time.
I think that's what it is too. A lot of UFC fighters, they might not respect boxing as much because they think the gloves are bigger. You know what I mean? It's not you don't get hit as hard, but you know what I mean. You do got to take punishment for over 12 rounds
Hmm.
if you're not winning that fight.
Yeah. And, in MMA, you're having to worry about the clinch, wrestling, jujitsu, kicks, not just always shots to the stomach and to the head. But in boxing, it's strategic, it's isolated to where you're going to take most of that trauma to the body and to the head. You're not having to worry about getting in that clinch or grappling matches or wrestling, jujitsu. It's just all straight blunt trauma.
Yeah, sure.
Right. And the pace of where the hands are thrown, like you were talking about, getting up in there and taking off on them. The rate of strikes are a little bit higher because there are more hands. Of course, you got your guys in MMA that throw at a high rate as well, but it's just different. It's just totally different.
Yeah, did you guys see the Navarrete fight and Valdez?
I don't think I did. I don't think
That
I
one I
caught that.
didn't see.
It was over here. It was at Desert Diamond Arena.
No,
Oscar
I did
Pereira
not see that.
saw Emmanuel Navarrete. He threw like 1,100 punches, I think. That's a lot of punches.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is a lot. Holy crap. And you got to have some serious, like, you have to have serious gas tank for that.
It didn't even look like he
Man,
was in a fight afterwards. He looked all
man,
hurt. That's funny.
1,100 punches. You got to carry my arms home. Put a slinky.
Yeah.
Um, no, so couple of questions for you though. Um, who would you compare your style
um,
to?
honestly, I don't know. Just depends on how I'm fighting that day. Like I said, I like boxing a lot more. I like to be more of a boxer, but sometimes you can't just depending on who you're fighting. But I just try to take a lot of notes from everybody. Like I said, I watched a lot of Devin Haney. Um, I watched a lot of Javante Davis. So I
Hmm.
just try to take a little bit from everybody. I don't want to say I'm
Okay.
like the. I don't want to say like I'm like the style's like the same as mine. You know what I mean? But I watch a little bit of everybody and try to use
Grab a
what
little
they.
bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Then
yeah, it works. You know what I mean? It works. So you might as well just do it.
Yeah, exactly. And be a chameleon in that aspect.
Yeah.
right.
Okay. And then if you could have anybody in your corner, whether alive or dead, in boxing or just somebody completely out of boxing, would there be anyone that you would want to have in your corner just for one fight?
You guys know who Eric Thomas is?
I've heard that name.
He's like a motivational speaker, but I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. He's bald.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if he was in my corner, I'd just be hype. He's like, you got jumper cables on your chest. Yeah.
So somebody to get just speak into your give you some motivation in between the rounds.
Yeah, not that I need it, but I don't know. It would just be, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Something
that
to
just
amp you up.
add
Yeah.
to it. They just hop in between rounds. Clear.
Yeah.
Right. Get that Joda energy.
Yeah.
So after a weight cut, and before I ask that question, how was your first pro weight cut? Was it any different from any of your amateur weight cuts?
No, not necessarily. I know what to do. Is done it before as an amateur. I've even done some harder probably as an amateur, but so
So
it's just
business
it
as
was
usual.
the same to me. You know what I mean? Like you got a job to do. You got to make your weight. You know.
Yeah.
So do you have a go-to meal after your weight cuts?
You're talking about like right after weigh-ins?
Pretty much. After you get the weigh-ins out the way, you've already hit that scale. You're drained. You've been drinking nothing but water for 2 days. What's your go-to meal?
Honestly, I don't know. Probably like a steak and some carbs. Probably like some mashed potatoes. I don't know. Just whatever I'm feeling. I'm always eating something different. I try not to eat the same thing all the time.
You got a
Uh,
favorite steakhouse?
Nah, not really. Probably here at my house grilling. what, what I've been liking a lot, eating a lot is I don't know if you guys are Pier 88.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I like the hot and juicy style.
Nice.
Yeah, I like the crab leg.
Nice.
I haven't
For sure.
decided though. I have been thinking like, what am I gonna eat after weight cut after weigh-ins?
Yeah, it gotta be
Are,
epic. Drinking
are
water.
you guys gonna be there at weigh-ins?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For
Yes, we will, man. We will definitely be there.
sure.
Nice. And so a new question that I've been asking now is that, especially with you being here, you're a local here, you grew up here in Phoenix. What type of impact do you want to have on the community as you progress as a pro fighter?
Um, I don't know. I was talking about that with some of my friends the other day. I was like, what would you guys do? Like, you see like a lot of people giving back or something. You know what I mean, to the community when they make it out. And I was just saying like I'd probably put like a free boxing gym or something. You know, that's what I was thinking of trying to get like boxing into high school or something. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's up.
especially nowadays, a lot of like kids are like doing drugs and stuff, and if they just had like something to keep their mind off of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to be occupied, just keep them out the streets.
And that kind
Yeah.
of leads me into my next question, which was, what would you say to the kids that are out there watching you and you leaving them with an impression? What would it be?
I think just to get out and chase your own dream. Like I know, like in the past, I've watched like a lot of like, or even some of my friends, they said, "Damn, like how do you, how could you do that?" Like I would be so scared. You know what I mean? Like just to get up and go try. Like I would rather, me personally, like I would always rather like I wasn't like so nervous or scared because I'd rather do something and fail. You know what I mean? Than
Mhm.
not try it because I was so scared of it.
Yeah, and be stuck with that regret of never knowing what you're capable of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you don't push yourself, nobody else will, you know?
That's for sure.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, man, September 9th, uh, pro your second pro fight. What can we expect when you step in the ring?
Like I said, we already know. You know what I mean. So I'm gonna just try to get right on it. I've already sparred him before. I'm definitely gonna try to get him out of there. That's just what it is. Um,
Keep it going from
if
the
I can
decision.
if I can get him out of there early, I'm going to. But I'm definitely gonna try to put on a show for the fans, for all my supporters coming to watch.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what's up.
Yeah.
No, if it was anything like last time, it's gonna be packed in there, and they're gonna be loud again for you.
Yeah, I do like, even though like I said it don't affect, like I'm still gonna perform if they're there or not. I still, I like the energy there. I like to be a showman.
Hmm. Yeah, put
I
on
like
that
to
show.
sing for fans, yeah, for sure.
Definitely, man. Well, I can't wait. We'll be there. I know usually I work on Fridays, so it's iffy for me, but I know Josh will be there. If not, I'll be there on Saturday for the fight. Try to get some after post fight interviews in. Um, Hopefully, we can talk about a victory and a knockout.
Yeah, for sure. 2-0.
Yes, sir.
Mhm. Yes, sir. And we got Rosita saying a farewell for you.
That's my mom.
Hey,
Hey, you
Love
got
you
to pay
too,
respect to your mom.
bro.
uh,
Yeah, for sure. She helps me do a lot of ticket sales too.
Yeah, and you know that's the support that I love too, seeing especially with upcoming fighters, boxers, and all that, because that's the foundation that's going to help you skyrocket, and then, like you said, like pay it forward, pay it back to the community, bringing it back to the roots like that is going to bring your legacy and your story full circle.
Yeah, and I know like these people, like people who are coming to watch, are spending their hard-earned money. You know what I mean? Coming to watch me, so I definitely want to put on a show for them.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Elijah
They're
getting a
here
little
blowing
jealous.
it up for you. Yeah, man. I can't wait. I'm excited for you. I'm excited to see your second fight. I really appreciate you coming on the show and sitting down with us, and hopefully we can do that again.
Yeah, thanks guys. It was dope.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's always a privilege to have you guys on and to hear your story and help you grow.
Yeah, thank you, Desi. That's good.
For sure,
Dude,
man. Well, yeah. Anything before we let you go though? Anything that you want to say? Any shout outs you want to give? Anything you want to leave with?
nah, just make sure you guys get your tickets for September 9th, because this one's gonna be better than the first for sure. For sure, for sure. I train harder, train smarter. And then shout out to my boy Spence. He's an upcoming country artist. Go listen to him on Spotify, Spencer Ray.
Nice,
Hey, that's what's up.
nice.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, again, thank you for coming on, bro, and we'll see you September 9th.
All right, thanks guys.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you, man. Peace.
Peace.
Man, another good one.
Yeah, man. I love doing this shit, man. It's at the end of the day, it's so cool to be able to interact with all these guys and get to hear their stories, especially their ambitions and their goals and what they're really fighting for.
Yeah, no, for real, man. And hearing what pushed them on and what eggs them on currently, and what they're doing it for, and yeah, I enjoy it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dope too when, like we always talk about it, like it seems especially now that Arizona fighters, they're just a whole different breed. But like what Adam was saying, like there's a lot of these kids now that are leaning towards drugs. We're seeing a big amp up in the homelessness that's here, a lot of violent stuff. So I don't know. I've always felt like boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, just combat sports in general, it is such a valuable tool that allows these kids and even these adults to escape these type of bad situations and to turn it into something good that could help their people.
Yeah, no, sports in general, man, and uh, the closer you go to the bigger cities and things in different states, and you'll notice it more and more. Um, you know, uh, a lot of kids, that come from bad situations, whether it's poverty, whether it's uh, drugs in the household and things like that. They use sports as an escape,
Mm-hmm.
and I think his idea was dope too about um, providing a free place for kids and them to go be able to box and get their mind off of things.
Yeah. Absolutely, especially like with how the economy is right now. Like a lot of people are struggling, and there's especially a lot of kids whose parents don't have the ability to afford to pay for the extracurriculars, to pay for the extra sports and activities. And that's what has oftentimes, like, especially from my own personal experience, has what's led to these kids to go down these wrong paths, to get into gangs, drugs, violence. So to offer a platform like that, like MMA Youth Outreach, for example, how they offer free classes and free courses, it gives that escape and that outlet for these kids to kind of escape that type of scene.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought them up. That was you came across MMA youth outreach, right?
Yeah, yeah.
MMA Youth Outreach, wonderful program, wonderful thing they got going on over there. Gives opportunity for exactly what we're talking about right now for kids that don't have the ability to pay, don't have the ability to pay, don't have the ability to go and learn, even though they want to. So they provide free classes, free courses for kids to come out and learn and train and like we talked about, get away if they need to.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, it just popped into my head.
Hmm.
I'm heartbroken about it. On the OG boxing card, uh, Billy the Kid, that fight got canceled, bro.
But um, damn, I was really looking forward to seeing Billy again.
I know.
He'll get rescheduled again. He'll get
Oh
rescheduled.
yeah. Oh yeah, easily. Yeah, I
Um,
know it's gonna be a stack card.
it is, man. I'm looking forward to it. OG boxing, September 9th. Um, is it September 9th or September 8th? Yeah, September
Yeah,
9th.
September
Weigh-ins
9th.
are
Yeah.
September 8th.
Yeah.
Um,
Are they gonna do the weigh-ins at La Perla again?
Yep. The weigh-ins will be at La Perla Sports Cantina, 5723 West Glendale Avenue, and the weigh-ins will start promptly at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock? Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, see, that's always the, like, how we talk about work, like, it's this is such a passion driven sport, but also like on our end it's also such a passion driven aspect of media, to where, like, like you said, because you typically work and then I'm typically off Fridays, we're so hell-bent on trying to find a way to come out and to help provide a platform for these guys that they're like, it's all over the place. It's really dope though.
Yeah, no, it really is. Um, Speaking of which, so we were talking about it a little bit earlier. PFA, Premier Fighting Alliance,
Hmm.
a new um, promotion out here doing wonderful things. Doing wonderful things. They just put on their first show. Um, it was in Santana Valley, or Mesa, wherever you want to consider it. Um, it was great, man.
Hmm.
Great.
Yeah. The only part that kind of sucked was just the heat. It was just super hot in there, but that was also because there was like what, over like 600 people, I think. There was a lot of people there. Like, it was packed. People were standing in the back.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of people. A lot of people there, and speaking of people standing in the back, they were standing in the back for hours, and you know, people were getting turned away and didn't want to get turned away. Even
Mhm.
getting turned away, they're like, no, 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 no. We'll stand up in the back there, and we'll be all right. You know what I mean? So, uh, no, it was good. It was a good turnout. It was a really good show. Um,
Mhm. It was a really cool full circle moment for us too, because we've always talked about not only doing the Wayne interviews, but also doing post fight interviews, and it was just really dope to finally be able to bring that full circle.
to do both of them at the same time. You always
Hmm.
When we have done it, it's always one or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as we get the weigh-in interviews, I'm good on that. But yeah, it was finally cool because that was my first time finally able to do like legitimate post-fight interviews instead of just like how we've always been, just kind of like running around with chickens with their head cuts off, trying to figure out what to do in regard to that aspect. Because it's also like, again, what like casual fans or people in the background don't necessarily see is that not only what the fighters go through, but also like for us, for example, how much work we put in to help provide a platform for these guys.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work. But it everything is, you know,
Mm,
especially nowadays.
yeah,
If it ain't, then it ain't worth it.
yeah, exactly. It's again, it's a passion driven sport.
Definitely. Um, so what else do we have coming up? So we got uh I feel like we climaxed with the UFC, um, with O'Malley just knocking out Allen. I feel like we
Oh, I think Rose Namajunas is supposed to fight this weekend.
yeah, Rose and damn,
Think Kevin
who's the
Holland?
co-main event? Is it Kevin Holland? Yeah, I think it is Kevin Holland. Rose and
Yeah,
Kevin Holland, yes sir.
yeah, Kevin Holland and the other dude. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight. We got Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo coming up in September. September 30th will be that fight. That's gonna be a stacked card too.
Hmm.
Jesus Ramos versus Erickson Lubin. You got Ugas versus Mario Barrios. You got Elijah Garcia versus Emmanuel Resendez. That is going to be a stacked event. So that comes up Showtime Boxing, September 30th. What else do we have?
You know who I really want to see fight?
Hmm.
That guy Boots. You know who I'm talking about? Boots?
Who's Ennis? Ennis
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Ennis
you know,
Nice.
funny enough, I think it was when we had Edward on that we were talking about boxers. When you guys brought up Boots, I had no idea what you guys were talking about. And then once I went back and was watching, I was like, "Oh, that's Boots. That makes sense." And I've been watching that. The way that dude is, his style, like he just goes in slow mo and then pops you all of a sudden. I've been wanting to see it, one of his fights lives for so long now.
Uh, he's good, man. He's so good, and like you said, patient. Like I really like the way he fights as well. His style's clean.
Hmm.
Um, that's it. You know, I want to see him fight fucking Crawford. Yeah, nobody says I want to see him fight Crawford.
That would be a very interesting matchup. I feel like Boots is almost flying a little bit under the radar because you're seeing Crawford, Shakur, even Haney and Javante, like they're getting the majority of the spotlight, but I don't see as much as that on Boots. And I feel like that like people are
Well,
kind of overlooking him a bit.
well, boxing is one of those sports that you got to have certain matchups to get that exposure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he's in the division where Earl Spence was a champion. Earl Spence was out of the ring for almost 2 years with both his he put both of his time off together.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Terrence Crawford. He was the other champion in that division, and then he, was doing his own thing. He wasn't a part of PBC at the time, so Ennis was just in a bit bad situation. So
Mm-hmm.
now that all that's cleared up, we're about to see some Ennis. We're about to see Boots is about to
Mm-hmm.
come out.
I
So
just
who do
had
we
a
have
random
next
thing.
week?
Huh?
Who do we have next week?
Oh, we got a very, very exciting person coming on next week. We got Anwan Ho from the MMA Lab. He's gonna be coming on next week. Dude, he is a hype train right now. Like I know we've been talking about like behind the scenes of bringing him on for a minute, but it's gonna be exciting because I know he also has a fight coming up too.
Hmm. Yeah, man, I'm really excited about bringing him on. Yeah, like you said, we've been talking about it for a long time. I've been wanting to bring it on for a very long time, and
Hmm.
this is nice.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad we came across him at the UFL. As soon as I
Yeah,
saw him walking right behind us, I was like, "Hey, let me shake your hand, bro. We gotta link up."
yeah, definitely, man. I mean, those guys over there, even Maylab, they're hot right now. Keep a watch out. They're putting dents in the UFC. A lot of guys are coming up in the circuit, like Un and Abdul. We've said Abdul's name a lot over the last month and a half or so.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, Marcus, that's been dominating in his UFC debut so far.
you got a lot of guys over there. But yeah, I can't wait for that one. Then we got Steven Collins. After that,
Scuba Steve.
Scuba Steve. Yeah, it was crazy how talking with him as well. We'll talk about that. His debut fight is against the legend himself, Rampage Jackson's son. So we'll talk about how that felt leading into that, what was going through his mind in the camp. Um, you know, he has just speaking with him a little bit about that. He has a nice story to share about that. So we'll see, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after that, I don't know who we got after Scuba Steve. But I know sometime November, we're also gonna be booking an interview with Brittany Cloudy. She's gonna be she moved on to the finals to where she's gonna be facing off against Zarina Turri for their championship division.
Yeah. That's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gonna be a battle. But yeah. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
If you guys haven't already followed us, you got to make sure to follow us on Instagram. You got to go on the line, go on Facebook, go on YouTube. Yes, I reference internship with Vince Vaughn. You got to find us everywhere, man. We're on every mobile app, we're on every smart TV, everywhere.
Push the bomb the clap button. Push the buddy button.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Or we're going to crash a wedding.
Right. Especially, you know what I was watching today? Came across a reel. I don't know if you've seen that dude. I forget his name. He used to be a UFC fighter and or he used to be MMA and doing a lot of that stuff. And then he became a food. He rates food. But yeah, he had some fried corn on the cob today. I saw that shit. That looked
Wait, who?
He was a former I think he was in the UFC. He's a former UFC fighter. I forget his name. I have to show you him. I'll send it to you.
Okay, yeah. Only people I can think of
Fried
right now
corn
that
on the
does
cob.
food stuff is Alexander Volkanovski and Marcus.
Nope.
Mm.
I'll show you. Fried corn on the cob. The shit was fire looking. Then he had fried catfish tacos. And then he had a fried salmon burger. I'm getting hungry right now.
See the fried corn on the cob I'll pass on, but when you mentioned the fish, okay, I'm on board with that.
How you gonna pass on fried corn?
I don't like corn. As my family saying goes, if it's healthy, it ain't good for you. No, I've never been able to fuck with corn. It's the corn. It's the taste of it. It's too corny.
With that note.
I'll tell you what though, those fish tacos that we had out in Ohio that had a little bit of corn in it, I was actually impressed. I was impressed. I liked it.
A little speck of corn. Now he's a corny. Now he's a corny. All right, y'all. Well, I'm James.
And I'm Josh.
This is Throwing Hands.
Peace.
Yeah, check this out, man. It's your boy Young Dro. I'm in the building with ASAP Sports, man. If you ain't here, you ain't nowhere, man. As soon as possible, get here. You dig?
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
Rebel soul child got a fist balled. I'm a respawn of ancestors and I'm blessed, They are not him, tell him fess up. I get checked up, hella carefree, nothing scares me, hella reckless. Yeah, I got next up, right? No, we not the same, cause see when I look in your iris, you likely to talk but not ready to ride. You do better keeping it quiet.